Welcome back to the 94 podcast. My name is Kossi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Antony could be in big problems at Manchester United. Now, there is pressure from Brazil for Manchester United to drop Antony from their squad. Manchester United are contemplating and they're yet to make a decision about this, but it could be coming and Antony could be dropped from the Manchester United squad courtesy of pressure from Brazil. Now, we understand that Brazil have dropped him from their own squad and they're saying that it is to protect the victim in this case, and that victim is Antony. We are going to be discussing this story. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. I do not want to rush into judgments. I don't want to rush into any kind of conclusions. I want us to deal with this in a more objective perspective and in a more mature way. So what is going on is that there are allegations from his ex-partner that he actually physically abused her. That is what is happening. Now, Antony physically abused Gabriela in their past relationship. Antony has come out and said the relationship was a little bit toxic, and it really did happen that they did have quarrels, they did have heated arguments, but he never at any point in time, according to the official statement that we are going to look at, he never at any point in time abused Gabriela physically. Where are you standing on this one, and where do you think it's gonna end? We're gonna see another footballer within a space of less than 2 years. Another footballer could actually have his career end, with Mason Greenwood surviving by a whisker and losing his Manchester United bright career, going to Getafe. Yes, he did make mistakes, of course. Benjamin Mendy has been proven innocent. His career is gone, and there were allegations about Thomas Partey as well in the same light. Why are we having these cases rising, and what is actually the interest of the parties if these allegations are not true? Of course, if they are true, I do not support any kind of violence, and I would say I would stand with the victims. But if they are not true, what is the motive behind these allegations? Hit the like button for me and subscribe as well. But let's get the conversation started. So let us start off with Antony, because he releases an official statement just a couple of hours to confirm that he's in talks with the police, to confirm that he's actually working with the authorities on this matter. So he says, out of respect for my fans, friends and family, I feel obliged to speak publicly about the false accusation I have been a victim of for a very long time. From the beginning, I have handled this issue seriously with a lot of respect, providing the clarifications to the police authority. The police inquest is under cover of justice and therefore cannot make its content public. However, I can say with confidence that the accusations are false and that the evidence already produced and more is going to be produced shows that I am innocent and the accusations are just made. My relationship with Miss Gabriela was to tumultuous, and it says with verbal offenses from both sides, but I never practiced any kind of physical aggression. Every time within the testimony or interview, she presents a different version of the accusations. Thus, I come to deny the accusations made and to inform that I remain at full disposal of the Brazilian authorities to clarify what is needed. I trust the ongoing police investigations will reveal the truth about my innocence. That is the official statement of Antony, released just a couple of hours ago. So the player has been accused by an ex-partner, Miss Gabriela, as he says, of physical aggression. Antony says the relationship was to tumultuous. The relationship was absolutely, sick. It was dirty, and they did have, fights here and there, but they did not have physical fights. He did not have any physical aggression to the lady. Of course, there is, that part of evidence from the lady as well, which actually points to Antony as the aggressor. So what has, in light of all this, the Brazilian team have done something that I did not expect them to do. They have dropped Antony. So they have literally given a verdict where it is not due. Now, anyone who is going to say probably they have wanted to distance themselves from Antony, or maybe they feel he's not in the right state of mind to actually play for them, or anything like that. But I think this is a time when a player needs his team. This is a time where a player needs his family. This is a time where a player deserves the loyalty of the establishments he actually represents. So for Brazil to drop him they will actually say that it represents the values of the team, of the Brazilian national team as an entity. They don't condone any kind of violence and all that. But the big question for me, the real big question, is if this was a star man like Neymar and these accusations were at this stage, do they drop Neymar? It's a very, very big question, but I don't want to go there. So the Guardian have reported, and they're actually indicating that him being dropped at Brazil is actually causing a faster reaction at Manchester United. Man United have been given some kind of pseudo ultimatum to drop Antony very, very soon. He should be dropped by Manchester United simply because he has been dropped at Brazil. There is pressure coming in from Brazil. There's pressure coming in from the Brazil national team that if we have dropped him, he's our player, he's our own. If we've dropped him, then you've got to drop him as well. Man United, as we speak on this video, are contemplating, and they're yet to come up with a decision, but it is highly likely that they are going to drop Antony from the squad. Now, this one is a very difficult one, right? Because we cannot go with the words of Gabriela before the authorities actually clarify or justify them, and we can also not go with the mere statement of Antony on Instagram because, again, it is to protect himself. There is nothing as revealing as to whether there was any kind of more aggressive touch, more aggressive arguments beyond what he speaks about, beyond what he says that the relationship had verbal abuse, verbal exchange of words here and there from the partner and from himself as well. This is what I want to ask. It's a question, and I'm really, really glad that this actually comes up at this point in time. We have had Benjamin Mendy acquitted. We've had Benjamin Mendy let go free after a long period of time, 3, 4, 5 years. The guy's career is done at Manchester City. He had signed for one of the best clubs in Manchester City, and his career is now gone, and suddenly he's free. Suddenly he's innocent, and the people that actually accused him walk away with no punishment. I'm not okay with that. I'm absolutely not okay with that, and I'm going to talk about the fact that if females or women actually have the liberty to report any kind of physical aggression, men should actually have the same as well. But what I want to ask here, what is the motive of so many people accusing one person? What is the motive of these accusations if they are not true? Like I said at the beginning of this video, if they are true, then I don't have a problem. If they are true, then I'm on the side of the victims. But if they are not true, why are we seeing a rapid increase in women filing these kind of cases? Is it because they're coming out of the shadows? It has been ongoing for a very long time, and finally they feel they can speak up, or it's on the other side, it is some kind of drama. I really, really do not understand. But I really feel pity for Antony. He's worked his ass off. He's gone to a club like Ajax where he's gotten that opportunity to raise his career, and he's done it, and he's worked every single day, every single minute, and at a point where he's got to enjoy the fruit of his money. He's got to enjoy his money. He's got to enjoy the fruit of his sweat. He's going to be absolutely torn apart. This is not going to leave Antony the same. He's already struggling at Man United. He's already struggling as a footballer. He's struggling to cope up with the Premier League. This is not going to leave him the same. And I'm really scared. I really, really get scared. And this is going to be a little bit protective because of Antony. I really feel pity for Antony because he's not Mason Greenwood again. He's not Mason Greenwood. So the way these stories are actually going to be running, they're going to target him. They're going to absolutely, scapegoat him. And it's already started. I was reading The Guardian today, and the last 3 stories about The Guardian, from The Guardian about this story, do not have any meaning. They actually have nothing in them. They're literally trying to call for the head of Antony, right? So, will Manchester United drop him? I think they will drop him. I think they'll drop him. Manchester United have to stay consistent, and you've got to feel for them. After losing Mason Greenwood, because they wanted to stay consistent with the values of the club, now, barely a month later, they're being put to the test. They're being put to a very similar kind of task with different equipment and very different specimen. For me, if you're Man United, there is nothing you're going to do here. There's nothing you're going to do. You've got to stay consistent. You're going to rest Antony. You're going to put him aside. You're going to push him aside until the investigations actually get done. And after that investigations get done, then Man United will have to conduct their own internal investigations to ask whether Antony will get back to play for Manchester United. I don't think after, disallowing and discontinuing Mason Greenwood, they are going to continue working with Antony. I don't think it's going to happen, right? I don't think it's going to happen. So, as sad as it is for football, as sad as it is for me to say on this podcast, it's a general podcast. I think Antony's career has now headed for Getafe. I think his career has headed for Al Hilal, Saudi Arabia. I think his career has headed for, Turkey. There's so many European clubs around that are not going to actually welcome him with open arms the way they opened arms for Mason Greenwood. We all know why. I'm not going to say that. So personally, Antony, it's a big disgrace for football. It's a really big disgrace for football. There are trends that actually happen, and somehow they want to destroy football and footballers' lives and livelihoods, because someone knows Antony gets his livelihood from football. And making those accusations, if they are true, no problem. But if they are not true, you know what's going to happen. Contracts are going to be cancelled, sponsorships are going to be halted, and his life is actually going to go back to zero. His life is probably not to zero, obviously, but his life is going to go backwards. And it's one thing I don't want to see. I don't support Man United. Have a big rivalry on Man United as an Arsenal fan, but there are things I don't want to see. There are things I treat as a football fan, and this is getting out of hand. Every single day there is a footballer being called by police, questioned about a certain woman ABCD who actually claims this ABCD, right? So I don't know what you think, guys. I don't know what you think, but I don't know who's lying here. I don't know whether Antony is panicking and releasing statements to clarify his name. I don't know whether the partner Gabriela has any motives, right? Because it's not the first time Thomas Partey was under this, and somehow he's still playing football. But if it turned out in a very different situation, if Thomas Partey's name had been released, then probably and potentially Arsenal could have discontinued him, and his career would have been in the mud. So professional from Arsenal, professional from whoever actually handled that, to make sure that Thomas Partey's name doesn't come out. So, and Arsenal, very big credit to Arsenal, because they refused to drop the player. They refused to drop the player until he was proven guilty, and the player was eventually not found guilty. So guys, Antony, is it the end? Certainly. It's certainly the end, right? You're not Mason Greenwood. You're not going to get a second chance at Getafe. You're not Mason Greenwood. You're going to be like Benjamin Mendy. You're going to go back to Las Palmas. You're going to go back to Palmeiras. You might actually be kind of Europe excommunicated. I really feel sad for this one, and I wanted to do this video, and I'm so happy that I have actually done it. If Manchester United release any official statement dropping him or retaining him, then we will do another video explaining and actually running through the emotions. But at the moment, what we have is an official statement from Antony, and of course the evidence and the accusations script that has been scripted by the ex Gabriela. I'll speak to you right in the next one. I don't want to speak much about this one because I could get out of hand, and you don't want that, do you?